Oh, okay, what a fantastic treat. I am super excited. So this is an incredible excitement for me. I have just been so blessed to connect in with Raquel. She is another QHHT practitioner, and we had a session. I can't remember now because my time feels very convoluted. But holy shoot, her session was phenomenal. She is phenomenal. I am so passionate about this woman. Her information is incredible. And I just feel like I'm pinching myself because people like Raquel in my life just give me so much joy. So, oh my goodness. So Raquel, welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you very much for being here today.
Thank you, Joe. It's a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Oh, wow, thank you, thank you, thank you for reaching out to me. And my goodness. So please, I'm going to mute myself and I want you just to share everything because I love listening to you and share with us your journey of discovering this work. If you want to share this session, if you want, you have the floor. I'm literally just going to listen with much glee.
Thank you. So I'll try to put it all a little bit in a nutshell, but starting from the beginning so people can kind of understand where I'm coming from. I had a miscarriage last year and that really brought me down. I'm not really a person that is, I don't really get depressed. I'm a very positive, high vibe person. And that was my lowest. I understand that many people probably wouldn't consider that depression, but for me personally, it was definitely my lowest point. So to kind of distract myself because I was having a hard time dealing with it, I just couldn't understand why that had happened to me. I turned myself to politics. At the time with the election and everything, this was in November last year. It just really was perfect. Like I was busy. I was just consuming as much information as I could. And well, nothing like going down rabbit holes at the time. And that's when I found out about the crimes against humanity. And that was extremely shocking for me. I felt that instead of getting myself out of the hole that I was, feeling within, I was just getting deeper and deeper within it. And it really crushed me and it started changing me. I felt I couldn't sleep. I was really, really bothered by it. I mean, any person would be. But that led me to meditation. I felt that I needed to find a way to just clear my mind. I couldn't continue going the way I was going. And I started learning about meditation. And that's when I had my first experience. And that changed everything for me, like everything. I don't know if you want to hear about the experience. It's actually very short, but very profound. Should I talk about it, Joe?
I think that everyone needs to hear epiphanies and awakenings. Like when you have them, you should be bragging about them. And I know you aren't a bragger, but I am still, well, I'm like your number one fan. So please, I want to hear it again myself.
Okay, so I learned that, you can do meditation several ways. For me, I decided that I wanted to try, just lying down, and I wanted to try some sound therapy just because I felt like, oh my gosh, I'm never going to be able to meditate. I can't quiet my mind. And I read that sound helps you just kind of relax and helps you sleep and all those awesome things. So I tried it out. And I was just lying down in bed with my headphones on, my blindfold on my eyes, and I was just listening to this third eye opening frequency that I just went on YouTube and just searched for those frequencies. And I just picked one. I really have no one to recommend. It was just whatever it came out. And I was just lying there and I just started feeling really relaxed and, very chill, very relaxed. And I set that intent, and I think this is very important to set the intent that you want to meditate, you want to clear your mind, you just want to relax. At the time, I knew nothing about, my team or any of that. I was just focused on clearing my mind and feel positive and just get myself out of that hole that I was feeling, that I was just trapped in. So I was just lying there relaxing, and I started seeing all these flashes. Like I could see my neurons like lighting up or something. And I thought that was the coolest thing ever. So I just started really observing and observing. And as I focused on those flashes, those flashes kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger until it was so bright. And I remember just taking my blindfold out. I was like, where's this light coming from? Like, I thought my husband was watching TV next to me. So I was like, where are you watching? But it wasn't. So I was like, okay. So I put my blindfold again, and that light just kept getting brighter and brighter and brighter until it completely took over. And it was just so, so bright, so bright. I just couldn't comprehend where the light was coming from. And I felt my whole body tingling. I was just so warm. And I started crying because I just felt this overwhelming sense of love. And I cannot explain to you how, but in that moment, I just knew that I was in the presence of God. And the one thing that I learned with that experience, that was the whole experience, by the way, that was it. Eventually, I just fell asleep with that overwhelming love feeling. I had one of the best nights of my life. I just slept through the whole night. And I just remember knowing that there's no hell. And I cannot explain to you how, but I learned later that you just have these feelings and you should trust your feelings, because trust me, that instinct is never wrong. But that day I learned that God was not what a lot of people expect. And I learned that there's no hell. There's just love on the other side. And that was it for me. It changed me. I woke up the next day just in such a good mood. I had this positive vibe about everything. And I was so curious, Joe. It was like this little spark that I just wanted more and more and more of it. I mean, I just crave that feeling. Who doesn't want to feel that kind of love and that kind of peace all the time, right?
Absolutely.
So for me, that was absolutely life-changing. And that's what brought me to Dolores, because then I started going on the internet and trying to learn more about meditation. And I just wanted to really, how can I quiet my mind and do this all the time, whenever, like on demand? So as I searched online, Dolores Cannon just came up. And I really know my team, oh my gosh, my team really worked everything for me, because now as I look back, it was like just everything just fell into place. So Dolores can come up, I started reading about her, and boom, it just clicked. I was like, oh my gosh, what is she talking about? Like, it just resonated with me. I just felt like there's something here. And the more I learn, and as I watch her videos and her talking, I just could feel like I was like, there's something here. I need to learn more. I need to learn more. And I really started developing a passion really for this. And I think it was like, what, a month later, after kind of watching so many of her videos, start reading her book, which, by the way, there's a lot of her books absolutely for free on Telegram. I don't know if people are aware of that, but they're absolutely for free for you to just download and read. And that was really, really awesome for me. And then I just knew I wanted to become a practitioner as well. I wanted to help people. I wanted to do the work that she was doing. So that's how I started my course. And I already finished the course, and I'm still doing the practice lessons. I still haven't completed my 25 lessons. But so far, the lessons that I have done have been absolutely amazing. One of the things that I love the most about it, and I even commented with Joe, is the energy that I'm able to feel through my clients. We shared that together, and I can just really feel that. Oh, it's better than coffee. That is amazing. I don't know if you agree with me, Joe, but that energy is just amazing. And
I definitely agree with you. I definitely agree
right?
with you. The first few sessions, you know, like it really wipes you out as a practitioner because it's so high frequency. When you're starting off, it's, you know, you've got to focus intently on everything. It's, you know, it's quite extraordinary starting to learn these sessions because, yeah, there's a lot that goes in with it. And to then be in that frequency while you're still trying to get your wits about you to navigate through. And then, of course, you know, you can have clients that have got very big traumatic ending exit points and certain of their regressions. You've got to be really calm and collected and not react and really try to explore as much as you need to for your clients' benefit and purpose. And it's incredible, incredible, incredible. This work is phenomenal. And it blows my mind every time I do a session where this information is so obvious when they say it, but it's like, oh, we've been scratching around for that for a while, you know. So yeah, it's
Absolutely. And I even remember, because I mean, you see the videos and you learn the stuff with Dolores Cannon, but I mean, there was a little part of me that was a little skeptical in a sense, you know? So I remember my first session with a client, and when she comes out of the cloud, she's telling me what she's seeing. And I kept asking her, okay, but now look behind you, or look, are you in the same place still? Like, it's not just switching on you or anything. And just like, no, it's like, I'm here. And it's so cool to hear these things when you are the one doing it, because I feel like there's a little skepticism when you're seeing videos online, but then when you actually do it and the person is there and the way they can just really describe things, it's phenomenal. It's really incredible.
I think it's very healthy and normal for people to have skepticism with this work because it just sounds too simply good to be true, especially when Dolores is talking about how she is able to find the information and heal the clients through their own team's cancer. You think that's a pretty ballsy statement, lady. I remember watching that the very first time, really believing everything she was saying, but then it was like, wait a minute, if that was true, like, wouldn't everyone be talking about this? Wouldn't this be all over the news and we would be able to help people? That was when I was young and dumb and just assumed everyone wanted the best for humanity.
I agree, Joe. But you know, something that I've been realizing is that the simpler what you have to do, the less attractive it is for people. It blows my mind how every time I bring up meditation to people, people just kind of brush it off like, oh, okay, oh yeah, meditation. Okay. Like they just simply assume, and right from the start, they think that it's not going to work. And it's free. You can do it anywhere. You just really have to try, right? But so many people just, really meditation, and I'll try some pills instead.
But it's,
you know,
but it's not just even the meditation. It is, you know, when people profoundly want help and answers and information, and they're given this information, the answers to it is love yourself. And people are like, excuse me, love myself. How am I supposed to love myself? Like they really cannot even comprehend for a second when they're still in their density that to even consider for a second loving themselves. It's so, they dismiss it almost straight. Oh no, I can't do that. That's not going to help anything. That's ridiculous. That's stupid. You know, like it is so interesting. I think it's with much love. I don't want to be criticized for judging people, but doing your inner work is hard. And actually you have to do it do it. You can't read about it. You can't assume you've got it. You've actually got to work through it. It's a doing. You have to actually put in the effort. It's super worthwhile. I highly recommend it. But a lot of people don't, it's like they're blocked from doing meditation, doing self-love, you know. I mean,
Absolutely.
And I just wanted to confirm with you, absolutely, when you're listening to that sound healing, to open your third eye, you fully had that intention, right? I'm going to open up my third eye. Apparently, I've got a third eye I haven't been aware of. I'm going to be opening it up today. I'm bringing it on. You're asking your team to open your third eye. You're trusting, you're open. You know, you're literally using your free will to the best. And guess what happened? Because you did something, you were doing something, you were opening yourself up to be activated. Wow, it's like magic. Your team was like, oh yes, we'd love to help her.
Yes, absolutely. Setting the intention. I know by my own experience that when I go more into like, oh, okay, whatever, but my mind is just going into other things and I'm not focusing on the intention that I'm setting, which is relaxing and just letting go and just welcome whatever it comes, it just doesn't go that way. So setting that intention, having that intent and really going for it, just every time something comes to your mind, you just let it go and you just welcome whatever it is that it comes. Because truth is, you don't know what's going to come. And that's the beauty of it, because so far, everything that has come for me, it is exactly what I needed, even though at the time I didn't know it. I mean, sometimes you go into it thinking, oh, show me this or show me that. You know, sometimes that happens, but other times it is something that you weren't thinking about at all. But then you're like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. I needed this. So just trusting and letting go, it's so important because your team knows what you need at the moment. And sometimes we want to go way ahead of where we are at in that moment because we hear things online, we see other people, and we're like, you know what, I want to know about that too. But guess what? Sometimes we're not ready. And when you follow the process, eventually you'll get ready and you'll get there. But if you try to get there right now and you haven't worked on yourself at all, it's not even going to make sense. Do you agree with me?
100%. Yes, skipping ahead. You can't skip ahead. You actually have to do all of the inner work to get ahead. So there's no shortcuts. So yes, I'm fully resonating with everything you're saying. I've seen it done many times, and I've seen many people having issues with it. And you know, it may seem like a great shortcut, but your team is not. Your teams are no fools, and they do not let people get away with shortcuts, that's for sure.
Absolutely. And then I had to learn with this process as I continue my own search. And I do really enjoy using the sound therapy, but nowadays I don't need to use it as much. I feel like I'm more connected and I can more easily tap into it. But at the beginning, I have to say, it was a fight of me trusting myself because I would have an experience and then the experience is over and I start almost immediately. Did I make that up? Did that really happen? Was that just my mind? Like, Raquel, you're really just going a little crazy on here. Like, no, that happened. But did it really? You just doubt yourself. And I remember being the next day and thinking about it and writing about it and just thinking, gosh, am I just making all this shit up? I mean, it's just seriously, what the hell is going on? And then having that feeling immediately, like, you're not making this up. But then right after that feeling, doubting myself, am I really not? And this was a huge fight for myself. I'm not saying that everybody's like that, but for me, trusting myself was really like a huge step. And while I was going through that process, I felt like I was just keeping it all for myself because, well, I didn't fully trust myself. So I'm like, I can't tell people these things. Like, this sounds nuts, you know? But once I just...
This is how people feel after they've had the sessions. You know, they sort of come in because they want to figure out, what purpose they have in life and why they're feeling discomfortable in their lives, and then they have some interesting regressions, how can they talk about that to their friends and family? It's too epic.
Absolutely. I mean, Joe, how do I explain my session to people?
Well, you're going to be doing it today because your session was phenomenal. It was so incredible, considering you thought you weren't, you were wondering maybe you were not able to go under, you may be just one of those people that just can't be hypnotized because of your experience. Like, do you mind sharing your first experience? And we're not trying to throw shade on the other practitioner, but I can help others who have tried these sessions and it hasn't worked out, to be able to remind them actually why things may not go as they plan.
Absolutely. And I actually learned a lot with our session because I remember what happened with the first practitioner that I tried to do a session with. And I mean, just the way you're even explaining to me, like how to get out of those vortexes and how to try to really get somewhere rather than trying to channeling your inner child. It really opened my eyes and helped me even as a practitioner, if that happens to a client of mine, how to navigate it. So that was really wonderful and spot on, and it just felt very natural. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I wasn't nervous, but I'm not gonna lie, at one point my brain thought, we might not work again, but it just happened really naturally. So that also showed me that, the more you let go and just trust, the easier. Because the first time I tried it, I think I definitely was overthinking everything, and I was very scared, and I was very greedy. I'm not gonna lie, but I don't think that was the main factor, because I'm sure you have a lot of people, and I've done these sessions to people that have done absolutely no inner work. They know absolutely nothing about it. They just wanted to, okay, let's do a hypnosis. Let's try it out. This might be cool. And that's it. And it worked perfectly. So.
Absolutely, it does. And so I think, I guess I'm very lucky and blessed to have a lot of volunteers find me, even though they don't even know that they're volunteers. And I think they're quite special because there's no other lifetimes that are relevant to this lifetime that the subconscious wants to show them. And so it is definitely a trick to navigate people who are, say, in the ninth dimension, that see nothing, can feel nothing, but feel like they're there in the present. And there's so much to these sessions. You have to really be able to be confident with what you're doing and saying to be able to help guide your clients, because initially they think it's not working because they're in the ninth dimension of this black void that feels very beautiful. But there's a lot to these sessions, and a lot of people, you have to practice. I felt still very new, and still I started feeling a little bit more comfortable in these sessions to be able to navigate with the direction that the subconscious wants to take the clients after around the first 100. So it's not an easy success thing to be able to just jump into. Practice definitely makes perfect. And you've really got to be there for your client and really care about them enough. And you've absolutely got to do your own inner work, because if you are blocked, you're not going to find the clients that you think you deserve.
Absolutely.
And
just let the subconscious do the job, because
yeah,
certain situations are very sensitive, and I mean, you don't really want to start giving any kind of advice or anything. You let the subconscious do that and help the person. It is nothing with you. It's the person needs to hear what they need to hear to do their healing. And I feel like sometimes practitioners, they try to give their own input, and I don't think that serves the client, honestly, because then we're just bringing out our own perspective into the issue, instead of letting the client hear their own subconscious and just heal themselves by understanding the reasons why. And it's just different.
Well, I've heard from so many of my clients who have tried to do sessions with other practitioners, and this practitioner has shut down any discussion about the new earth because they're saying, oh, it's a misconception, the new earth's already here, you know, and they're not even willing to let their clients explore just even that concept. You know, we've all seen practitioners talking about getting the vaccines and, you know, telling them their political views. And as practitioners, we really shouldn't have any public opinions in some regards. We should be so balanced, so accepting, so neutral, that we should be so open to supporting all, and not sort of shutting ourselves down into boxes. You know, like it, but then yeah, there's, I believe, you know, for each practitioner there is a whole bunch of their clients that are perfectly matched for them for whatever reasons. And you're right, I don't want to be responsible as a practitioner to be telling my clients X, Y, and Z of my opinion of what their problems are. That's definitely not my role as a practitioner, and that's when it's difficult. So when people are seeking me for channeling, you know, like then there's a different responsibility because it's coming through my mouth. So they're going to blame me for, you know, being held accountable for their inner work versus when it comes through their own mouths. And I think these sessions are so profound because as, you know, as the clients, we know our belief systems. So whatever comes out of our mouth through the subconscious, you know, we pay attention when it's something different. And when we are being called upon to remind us to drop X and Y, Z, to empower ourselves this way and that way, and to understand things and drop, yeah, it's so beautiful. And for me as a practitioner, you know, I've really loved and adored everything that Dolores would share with us. She writes a lot about her own sessions and her methods and her perception of the information and her techniques in her books. And a lot of practitioners haven't read her books. And, you know, I mean, it's a choice, you know, it's not mandatory, obviously, but if you really want to respect this work and the journey that Dolores has had with this, it would be sort of shooting yourself in the foot to not be aware of what Dolores is saying. And you know, like I do have utmost respect for Dolores because, you know, she is a pioneer in this work and she deserves full respect. When Dolores comes in and tells you something, you better be listening because, you know, you're wasting that amazing opportunity to grow.
Of course. And one of the things that I'm learning with this work is that everything is possible. I even think to myself at times, do I even know what possible is? Because there's so many possibilities. Some people will read Dolores books and just get stuck on those books. And I understand there was in a certain timeline, but timelines keep changing and we can't just keep focusing on that one thing. Oh, but you said this was going to happen this way and expect it to be exactly that way. I mean, things are changing all the time. The future is always uncertain until it happens. So I feel like, if anything, this work should open people's minds to any possibility. You know, let's get out of this little box that we've been so conditioned to live in and just accept any possible outcome. But I feel like a lot of people are still stuck in certain timelines and they are having a hard time accepting or understanding that things change. And that's been a struggle. I noticed that with friends that, you know, claim to be awakened. I don't think they are fully awakened. I think they are awakened, you know, in terms of system issues, but I don't think they are spiritually awakened. And they get really stuck to details. Well, but this person said this is going to happen, or that person said that's going to play out. And when things don't play out that way, there's a real frustration. And I think people need to understand that we need to open our minds and understand that future is uncertain. And we're trying the best that we can, but things might not happen exactly the way it was told it was going to happen. And that's okay. We're still going to get to the same result. It might not just go on that linear line that you think is supposed to go.
Absolutely. So when people listen to our sessions, for example, they assume it's going to be applicable to them. And it's like, all of these sessions, most of them are really for that client. And it's, you've got privy to listening to a personal session that is, about the client's information. And it really needs to be taken like that. We know in so many sessions, our teams have been begging us, stop following influencers and leaders because they've got their own agenda. Why not, just for shits and giggles, why not you use that time instead of seeking out information for influencers? Why don't you just do this novelty thing, which is called going within, just to see how that goes?
Bingo. Bingo. I tell everybody, and more I notice this, people have this need to follow somebody. It doesn't even matter sometimes what they're saying. They just have the urge to follow. They are so scared to go within, to get their own information, that they will spend their whole day just catching on to others' information. And honestly, that saddens me because, like you're saying, why not use that energy, or perhaps half that energy, to at least try and connect with your team? I mean, I cannot explain fully how wonderful it is for you to experience things, because I can try and put my experiences into words for you to understand. But trust me, having the experience myself is like, there's no words really to describe. I try my best, but there's certain feelings, there's an understanding of what I see and feel that I cannot fully 100% put into words. Sometimes it even comes out a little awkward, like, it's not exactly like that, but kind of like that. But in my mind, in my heart, I know exactly. It made perfect sense to me when it happened. And it becomes a part of me. When you are following somebody, you have to believe that person. You have to make it a belief system. When you experience it yourself, it becomes a part of you. You don't have to believe it. It happened. There's no denial. You might not want to think about it, but I don't have to force myself or to try myself to believe it. It happened. Just like, okay, the sun is up. It's this day. It is. I don't have to believe in it. It's a part of you, and it changes you. When you're just following someone else, you're constantly forcing yourself to believe that, to trust that, and to follow that. But when you experience it and you embody that experience, you have changed. And at least for me, I cannot see myself going back. I just can't.
I don't think it's even possible once you've sort of activated yourself to that level of connection. I mean, your session was incredible. You went very deep into it. You got visuals. You got, I think, a fan.
My visuals were so cool, Joe. I actually wanted to ask you, is this like a normal thing? I know that when I was taking the classes, Dolores said that a lot of people will see kind of cartoonish. Because I saw everything very cartoonish. It was so cute because it was like, oh my gosh, like sometimes you have a hard time, like, what exactly am I looking at? But it really just keeps coming to you, and then you just know. It's so hard to describe. It's like
the words are so
it just makes sense. It just makes sense, like you just know it. It's almost like when you're dreaming and you wake up and you're describing the dream to somebody, and you just know what's going on, even though you're not seeing everything that is going on, but you know what's going on. And it's exactly the same thing, like you look at somebody and you just know who that person is. Either it's a family member or just somebody on the street or whatever. But even though they don't have their little label on their forehead telling you who they are. It's incredible. It's really incredible.
The difference between listening to a session versus experiencing the sessions a huge, profound difference. Even if those people don't get the visuals, you get so many other senses to it, which are undeniable, as we've said. And this is why it's so incredible to have your own. And then, of course, your conscious mind is with you the whole time that you're having the first part of the session, which is, you know, either the future regression or the other lifetime experience or past lifetimes, as you want to call it. But then when the subconscious comes in, you're such in such in a relaxed state. You feel like you've got this urge to speak, but it's not your information, so you have to really sort of let go into that. And lots of people assume that you will be unconscious for the whole thing, or they have so many other assumptions. I find lots of people who take lots of different types of drugs, they're expecting to have that as part of this. There's a lot of assumptions, and I think really good practitioners would prepare their clients for what they're actually going to be experiencing. It's like a nap, but you're not asleep and you're not awake, and you're just talking to me the entire time.
Absolutely. And it's really incredible. I think I encourage everyone to do a session, because it's truly different to do a session and experience it yourself and to just hear. I mean, hearing the sessions is phenomenal. There's just so much information. There's so much growth, you know, to take from every session. But when you do a session yourself, I mean, it's just so personal. That's the beauty of it. It's so personal. It really touches you where you need it to touch, and it helps your growth. It's truly incredible.
Yeah, it's the extreme version of going within and getting all the profound answers you've really wanted. Of course, sometimes people don't like the information because it is pushing them to either drop their kind of crap that they've been holding on to, and if they're not ready, if it's serving them to hold their nonsense or their crap, or, you know, their inner work, because, you know, for whatever reason, there's a payoff for it, they're actually going to be quite annoyed with their subconscious to actually call them out on that and even dare suggest, they can drop this because it's no longer serving them, and they could actually step up and have a better positive attitude, and they can be more of service. You know, a lot of people, you know, if they're going to be honest, actually find it really frustrating because they just wanted, oh, you're perfect and amazing just how you are. You know, often the subconscious will want to give you more direction. And, you know, obviously most of my clients, they are fantastic and they are doing everything that they can do. And in fact, the subconscious is so proud of them. They're saying you can actually step up, you can level up, you could actually be, you know, you can, you know, trust your voice. People will listen to you. Actually, you've got such great wisdom. You can share it and not be afraid. You know, it's always super encouraging. But yes, there are times when people are not wanting the bigger truth, that they will, you know, stumble across this. It's all super purposeful. The subconscious wants everyone to do the best and be the best versions of themselves, because they know what you are capable of truly, without your blocks and limitations, what your life contract has to say. And yeah, they're super your biggest cheerleaders. But sometimes we have to have some tough love to be able to see actually where our sticking points are. And of course, all our inner work is our responsibility. And so we have to be honest with ourselves to see what's still sticking. And, you know, it takes a mature person to actually accept where they need to empower themselves more and to be more of service. So
Jo, it takes a lot of courage. And oh my gosh, people think that, you know, when people are awakening or when they're having these spiritual awakenings or journeys, whatever people want to call it, they think that it's all just like, okay, you're just going to be all Zen now, all about love and peace. I don't think people understand how hard the process is. I at this point, yes, I'm not going to say Zen. I still have a very tough, you know, my personality doesn't really go with the Zen. But I am more about love and peace, absolutely. But Joe, I went through a process where it was the hardest time of my life. I felt like I was fighting myself. I had two options. I either just commit to being crazy and accept being crazy and do not trust myself, just take it as craziness, or I have to do something and empower myself and apply the things that have been shown to me. And that was a tough decision for me to do. I'm not saying that it's easy for everybody, but for me, it was tough because I come from a very traditional family, very religious. I learned from the moment I was born that you follow the rules. You do not question. You do what you're supposed to do. And if you don't, you go to hell. So that was very hard for me to break. I found within my heart something that did not match at all what I learned from the moment I was born. There was a fight. I remember thinking, I have been lied to me my whole life, and that freaking hurts. And not being able to talk to people around you without them saying, I'm going to pray for you. You really have to trust yourself and believe in what's going on, because otherwise people literally the closest people to me literally said, Raquel, you're going a little crazy. When I lost the baby, I quit my job and people were telling me, Raquel, you need to go back to work. You have way too much free time on your hands. Stuff like that. It was very, very tough. And you know what? Now I look back and I'm like, thank you guys, because I truly had to empower myself and believe in myself and love myself and find out for myself that I did not need that reassurance from outside. My heart is all that I need. But it was very tough. And I think people are very scared of taking that step because they know they're going to have fingers pointing at them. They know that even if they resonate with this information, they are scared to speak it because they know that people are not going to understand. But I can tell you guys, once you do, once you speak your truth, it might be a little harder at first. Oh my gosh, but it becomes so much easier. And it gives you this, I don't know how to explain it. It's a confidence. It's an empowerment that there's no words to describe. I have never felt this peaceful in my life. Before, I used to have an argument with people and my blood would boil. I'm a very confrontational person, okay? So I have never taken stuff home to process. I just shoot at you when I have to shoot at you. And I was just like that with any belief I had at the time. I would defend whatever I thought it was the correct thing. But my blood would boil. Oh my gosh, sometimes I would even get sweaty. Oh, but I love that thrill, that adrenaline. It's something that I do love. But now I find myself being able to discuss what I feel without feeling aggravated, because I no longer feel like I'm defending my position. Honestly, I just know it is what it is. You don't have to believe it. You don't have to take it. But there's a peace that comes with it. It's not something that I was taught from the time I was born. It is something that I have experienced myself. And there's no comparison. There's no comparison in a way you argue one thing with the way you put or you stand your ground on something else. I'm no longer arguing with anybody. This is how I feel. And I don't do it in a way. I used to push things on people. I don't even push anymore. I tell them, let me try and give you a different perspective. And oh my gosh, people go, they don't like it. But it's just a different perspective. I'm not even saying this is how it is. Just a different perspective. Let's just try and open your mind a little bit. Could possibly be something, for example, like this. I'm not saying it is. I'm not saying it's not it. But what if? Just a different perspective.
And most people who hear new information, their natural reaction is to instantly reject it and shut it down. That is a defense mechanism of coping. So they will not be open to anything because life has beaten them down enough to not trust anything new. And so they're very suspicious of everything, to some degree, I guess. And then, yeah, it is fascinating. And just like how these session experiences are undeniable, because we can't make it up, because I'm definitely not that creative. You know, it's interesting because then the inner peace is undeniable, because we all remember when we were, you know, smaller versions of ourselves. I refer it to, you know, the old dumb me, you know, who was fully reacting to stuff, fully being in fear and fully buying into all the scare factors of everything. And it wasn't that long ago that, you know, she was ruling my life, you know, and now with this profound inner peace that I do have, honestly, I do have it. I enjoy this inner peace so much because I'm not reacting to other people's opinions or thoughts. You know, I can respect and can see exactly where they're at and still respect them for it, and hoping that when they react certain ways, it gives them, you know, gives them some moments to reflect on why they are saying and reacting to certain things in ways. And you can see people who are in fear. You can see people who
Absolutely.
are, you know, like it's, you know, the whole spinach in the teeth scenario. I don't know if you listened to that conscious mind conversation, but, you know, they are so, they're not subtle. They don't hide what their issues are, because when they, you know, when they show their cards, when they react to certain things, you can see everything that's they're really projecting onto you. And you are obviously also seeing when, you know, people are reactionary to life. 3D life is very, you know, reactionary worthy when you're still deep in it. But when you can see it from things from a bigger perspective, as we do from these sessions and as we've done our inner work, there is such beauty in it. It's so worth doing all the hard work to get there.
Absolutely. And the fear, like you're saying, is so, I mean, it's a part of us. I actually, now that I don't live in fear, I look around me and I see everybody so scared of everything, everything. I see women scared of their husbands. Of course, they won't tell you I'm scared of my husband, but I still find it fascinating when I have girlfriends that tell me, "Oh, my husband let me do this, or my husband will never let me do that," and that fascinates me. That's like, wow, you know. And I mean, we're still breaking out of those chains, you know, for generations and centuries. Women had absolutely no value, and you just follow your husband. You have to do what your husband tells. I was raised like that. Joe, I remember one of the first fights I had with my husband. I called my mom, and she told me, "What did you do?" I was like, "What did I do? Hell, I'm calling you about what he did." And you know what she told me after I vented about the whole situation? She told me, "Well, suck it up." That's what my mom told me.
Oh, wow.
You know, I see my mom. My mom works for my dad. My dad doesn't do one thing in the house. My dad still leaves his shoes. My mom still takes his shoes off and, you know, takes his socks off. And I mean, does absolutely everything for him. And I grew up doing that for my father as well. I grew up learning that I take care of the children, I take care of the house, I take care of my husband. And who takes care of me?
My gosh, if that was the rules in our house, I think my partner would be barefooted for his entire life. Wow, that is, I mean, that is of service to that relationship. And if it works for them, and you know, we can only assume it doesn't, but you know, people choose to do things to honor each other. And yeah, who knows?
It's in everything, Joe. Fear is in everything. How many people do you see going for colleges and taking these degrees that they don't really want to, but the expectation of the parents and the fear of going against that. I see people even with religion where, you know, they tell me, you know what, I don't feel it as much. I don't really want to go, but I have to, you know, what my family's going to think. But it's the fear is about everything. I
Mm.
don't really trust vaccines. But the doctor said, and if I say no, I know they're going to be on top of me to take it. It's just like, when are we going to empower ourselves about anything,
Mm.
really? If we truly look around at every perspective of our lives, there's always a little conditioning and fear about letting someone down, about disappointing someone, about not living up to somebody's expectation. How about what you want, your own expectation, your own free will, what truly makes you happy? When are we going to make us, me, first?
Mm.
And
Yeah.
that's what people don't understand. We need to break these cycles, and as you do your inner work, oh, you do. When you start
Absolutely.
doing your inner work, you start empowering yourself. And that scares other people. I know it scared the shit out of my husband.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, yeah, same here. Absolutely. And, because I had some blocks removed from my voice. And so I was speaking my truth, and whew, it was not shy. And it did take some time to actually work on that, because like it was, it was scary times for everyone, when suddenly I was brutally honest with them. And no one really wants brutal honesty. Everyone wants to be, subtle with observations, and yeah, I didn't, yeah. So I think everyone is afraid to be brutally honest with each other, because, we're not supposed to be like that, right? We're supposed to just pretend that the emperor has clothes and that everyone loves the emperor and his clothes. And, it's suddenly very trendy, and we've learned and we've heard so many times them using that analogy. And what I really think people forget, or they haven't kind of made the pieces of the puzzle for them yet, is we create the fear in our lives. We create the blocks and the limits, and we are doing that all to ourselves. Therefore, we can actually undo that. But so many people, when they are in, in a stuck situation where they haven't touched their inner work, blame others, and they're not responsible for their lives at all. Others are, they're just following the systems. Well, you don't have to follow any systems at all. You're not victims to systems, but you choose. It's your choices all the time to be in these predicaments. Oh, but then we'd have to quit our jobs. I'm like, well, the jobs you're miserable at and you hate, and you're just getting it for money that you don't even really need, because there's other ways to live. Truly there is, but when you're addicted to materialism and status, we're all very rich, because we've got inner peace. But yeah, there's so much to be said about it. But people choose to live the way that they think and perceive will give them the greatest joy, and they are confused why their lifestyles are not giving them the greatest joy and the inner peace. And they generally feel victims because they're not feeling the inner peace when all of their priorities are slightly not working for them potentially.
Yeah. And they won't admit it though. You can tell them that, but they will defend those things. It's pretty incredible. Like if things are crumbling, you would think, great, things are crumbling. Let's maybe start something new. But people that have complained about the system forever will freak out because things are crumbling. It's actually funny. Sometimes I hear your sessions, and when they start laughing, and I laugh with them because I know a lot of the topics are, sensitive, but there is indeed a little bit of, it's a little comic, I mean, we're so desperate to keep something that has not made us happy since forever. Why are we so desperate to keep it? Even with this situation now with the new earth, why are so many people freaking out about it, about something better? We haven't been happy with what's going on in this world right here, right now, but yet we're so scared of losing it. The thought of things crumbling and perhaps not having our jobs next year or something like that freaks out people. Why? It's an opportunity to build something new and different, better. So I personally, I'm not freaked out about it at all. I understand that some of the information might be terrifying to process, but I am not terrified, not even with the laser event, with the moving on to a different planet, losing this body. I've had my time as well to process this information, of course, but I really can have the bigger perspective. I want better. I do, Joe. I want better. I deserve better. And I am ready to let go of something that has not been worked. Yeah, the process is going to suck, but it's sucking already.
It's like when you were
So I will embrace the new. And I do want to raise my vibrations and keep them high and keep this higher perspective, because I know things are going to get tough. But we need to keep this higher perspective that it's going to get better. We're building the better, but we need to let go of this.
Yeah. Change does need to occur. Growth does need to occur. And maturity and, everything, the bigger perspectives. It really does. It's so important. As you were talking, they were showing me, that pair of skinny jeans that we have in the wardrobe that we think one day somehow we're going to by a miracle be able to fit our beloved carbon-based bodies, our meat sacks into them. And maybe because we've got them because we just hope that things could change. We're not happy with things how they are, but we perceived that we were super happy when we had those pants on us. Now, if we wore them, we would be disabled. I know I would be. Probably not work, but we've got belief systems. I got a belief system that when I was that size, I was, different. I mean, I actually don't have pants anymore like that, but I did used to think that way. So this is not the Joe now, but they were showing me people hold on to old things that they thought used to work for them, and they have this hope that they can go back to it. And the reality is we're moving forward at a rapid rate. We cannot go back to our what we've emotionally attached ourselves to. And our perceptions and our assumptions of the better. We should be embracing our curves and everything that's got to do with our meat sacks and honor it.
Absolutely.
And
it's a process. The letting go is a process.
Absolutely.
It doesn't, you don't just say, okay, I'm ready, let's go. No, it's truly a process. Joe, I had this one experience that it was actually with Gaia in my body. It was very, I still think about it with much love. It was very emotional. I cried a lot, but I felt so much love. And I felt like I had a conversation with Gaia and with my body. And in that moment, I love them so much. I thank them. I mean, this planet has been my home. It has given me everything that I know. Yes, it's hard to let go, but I'm so appreciative of everything that I was able to learn here. And I understand, that Gaia is ready to move on. I understand that, because you know what? I feel like I'm ready to move on too. So I have that, I really resonate with that. But at the same time, I have this profound love for all the experiences that I've had here. I've been here, well, that I remember, for 35 years. And it's been great. I've had an amazing life, and it's hard to say goodbye to it. But I can look at my experience and think of how much growth it has brought to me, and just really just love it and be grateful for it. And my body, my vessel, has worked so well for me. It has allowed me to accomplish everything that I've been accomplishing here. I couldn't do it without it. I felt so much love and gratitude. It was overwhelming. But I needed to do that in order to also be able to let go. I need to give that acknowledgement to really give that appreciation, because it did serve me and I couldn't have done it any other way. If Gaia wouldn't be here, I couldn't be here. If I didn't have this vessel, I couldn't be here. It's amazing. Let that gratitude involve you and just feel it. Feel that love. Give that love. Oh my gosh, your body listens to you. Gaia listens to you. Just speak to them. Show them how you feel. It will help you with this process of letting go and detaching and getting ready for what's coming next.
So good, yeah. I think I can't remember the stages that they sort of said that people would emotionally go through as they're processing this information, and being ready to detach the body and realize that you're not the body, you're merely experiencing this life with the body. I remember the first time my subconscious talked about our meat sacks, and I thought, God, that's so crass. It's so horrible. I'm the meat sack, actually. Thank you very much. As I've matured and grown with this work, I've realized, yeah, we are to honor the vessel, but we are definitely not the vessel.
Yes.
Well, I love that. And so share with us your experiences, your first session as a client, and tell me all about it.
My very, very first session, or this one right now?
The one that we had together, sorry.
Okay. So it was interesting because that week I was asking my team to show me, because I had felt that, I had shared with you that I had felt that my pregnancy could be my exit point. And I felt that I had work to do on the other side. And I remember asking my team, show me the work on the other side, show me what's to do on the other side. And, things didn't really work out the way I was expecting. And I think that's probably like something that happens very often. But it was very interesting when they showed me that, while I sleep, that I am sending energy to the earth, because I don't know, that was just so legit to see. I tried to describe it to you, Joe, as much as I could, but it was so intense. I could see all these rays of energy. And I don't know if they're really rays. That's kind of how I can put it into words. And please keep in mind, English is not my maiden language. So sometimes I struggle a little bit with, putting my thoughts into words. But I saw all these rays and I could see just multitudes, there was just so much energy being shot at Earth. And it was just like completely involved in this white energy, like white, yellow. You just could see it just vibrant, so intense, so intense. And I don't know if I commented with you at the time, but as I've been thinking about it, it was really cool to feel like, it was so many of us. Like, we're so not alone, guys. It's truly incredible how many multitudes are out there helping us at this point. I feel like right here, we have this feeling that, when is this going to be done, or when is this going to be over? But we don't realize how much work is being put into it. And I still don't realize that, but I had that glimpse of how much energy is being sent to Earth right now. And it was truly overwhelming of how much energy was there. So that was truly neat. I felt like there was a little bit an answer of show me what kind of work I've been doing, or what kind of work I'm going to do. And they showed me what work I've been doing. They said that I've been doing that while I sleep. And I really wish you could see how much energy I could see around the Earth. It was truly, truly powerful, very powerful, but it felt very natural. I didn't feel like I was, when sometimes you're trying too hard to do something and you just you feel like you're really trying hard. It just felt so natural. Like I was just truly just sending so much love, so much light. That was what I was doing. And that felt very, very natural to me. It wasn't an effort. Um, it was a pleasure, to be of service and to do that. And I could feel like we were all feeling the same. Nobody's there feeling like, oh, okay, let's do this. No, we're truly there, willing and glad to help. Like, it's very natural, it's very loving, it's very, yes, let's do this.
Mm.
So I felt that that was very powerful, to have that feeling that we're getting so much help, and none of the help is like forced. They are giving us their help because they want to, because they love us, and because they truly want to be of service.
Absolutely. And they also said that, it's not even necessary as much anymore. Did you get a sense of why?
Yes. So then I saw a sun coming up, and it just light going everywhere. It embodied me. It was just everywhere. In that moment, I just felt like I wasn't sending energy anymore. There was no need for it. That light covered everything. It was just like a flash, a flare, it was just everywhere. But in that moment, I couldn't see the planet anymore. I couldn't see that ball of energy anymore. It was just light everywhere. And there was a very great sense of relief, even though it was feeling very natural to me to be sending the energy out. And I was doing it gladly. I still felt a relief, like it was a sense of completion, a sense of it is done. And
Sense that that was the end of this physical planet?
yes, it was the end of this physical planet. Um, I felt that it was cleansing everything. I felt that that was the end, that was it, which for me was a bit interesting because I had always thought that there was going to be the shift, but then that the planet was still going to be there. I thought like, okay, there's going to be this flash and people are going to ascend and some are going to stay on the old earth, but there's still going to be an old earth. But what I saw was this light just completely embodied everything. And then I saw this seed. It was a seed cut in half, and I just knew it was a new beginning. That's it. That earth, the way it was done. And then something new was sprouting. And then I see this other new planet that I told you, it looks a lot like Earth. um, and I see myself and my family there. I see all these other people there. And it was just so beautiful, so green. And we're all kind of wearing these whitish tunics. I don't know exactly what we were wearing, but we all just look so happy and peaceful. And I knew that was the planet that came out of that seed. I knew that was the new thing, the new beginning. And it just felt really good. Like I really just had that feeling of job well done.
Mm.
And then boom, we made this. And it felt great. When you do something and then you see the result of it and you just feel freaking proud of yourself. That's how it felt. Like it just felt like job well done. It was, we did what we had to do and it was worth it. And it's beautiful to be now on the new earth where we're at. Like we did what we had to do and now we're here and look how great it is.
That's
It's truly awesome.
So it was very, very, very cool. The interesting emotion that always surprises me, and I forget about it every time until the client says it, is that sense of pride. It's the volunteers always it is pride. They're so proud of everyone being there that it's a huge thing, and they're so happy to be on the new earth, but it's that sense of pride that I always think, oh, that's right, because it always surprises me. But So you saw the flash, which is at the end of the life, the physical vessel of this planet. But you also got a sense other things were happening as well, but you were there supporting and holding the energy of this planet at the time of the great solar flash, which comes from the sun.
Yes, because I saw everything from an outer space perspective. So I don't know what happened on Earth. I saw everything from that perspective, as when I'm sending the energy and then the flash comes and I just don't need to send energy anymore. That's it.
Yeah.
But everything was from an outside perspective. You know, I'm just looking at the planet.
Yeah.
And the energy that I see, it's I guess the universe, it's in outer space. I don't see what happens inside of, for us people here living on Earth. My whole perspective was from that being in outer space, just seeing Earth in that perspective. So from that perspective was extremely overwhelming, which kind of intrigues me, how that will feel here. I'm not sure if by the time that happens, if there will still be people on Earth.
No, we've heard that
because I really felt like that was the end. I mean, there was like cleansing. There's nothing left. That's it. That was it. That was the end.
Yeah. So we've heard definitely no one is left behind when this final cleansing of the planet's gone. It's an empty vessel of a planet. All the things that needed to be removed have been removed, but you and a whole group of others, and I don't even know whether it was your higher self or even your subconscious, but you were observing it with a whole group of others, sending profound healing energy or uplifting energy or some powerful light to the planet and embracing it for then when this solar flash occurs.
What do you mean? Like you're asking if it was in my session that happened?
No, I thought it was.
No, mine was just the way I described it.
Consciously though, did you feel like you were the one holding like this, that was supporting the energy, or were you just noticing the energy that was being put on the planet?
No, I was sending energy. I was part of the multitude of beings that are sending the energy to the Earth. So I wasn't just observing.
Yeah,
I was.
But was that part of your consciousness, or was that a subconscious, or was it your higher self? Because I'm feeling like it.
Oh, I see what you're saying. No, that was my higher self. Yes, I don't.
Right.
It wasn't. Well, it was a bigger part of me.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's cool. And I'm sorry, I've done quite a few sessions since last week, so I'm sort of a bit fuzzy with the details of it, but I'm trying to recall exactly how it all played out now. It was extraordinary, it was fascinating. And then do you want to share your choices about how you're going to experience? I thought this
is
sorry, it's very
no, you're fine.
Very interesting.
So I was not expecting that, and I'm actually not sure. Has that happened before, Joe, where the subconscious says you can choose?
I think your situation is very different and unique. And so, I mean, everyone chooses the exit points, but your one, it does feel like it is truly a conscious choice decision.
Yes. So I really felt like I am given the choice, which kind of puts me on a hot spot. Oh my gosh. But so I had felt, and the subconscious said and kind of confirmed that my pregnancy could indeed, it's a possible exit point. But it did say that I could choose to stay, because you asked the baby what the baby wanted, and my baby said that he wanted to be born. Remember?
Oh yes, I absolutely remember this part.
Yes, because he said, what does the baby want? And the baby said that wants to be born. And my subconscious said that I can choose to have the baby. And then I would, it did say that if I wouldn't go, with an issue with a pregnancy, I would still go shortly after the baby is born. So I still, either ways, I'm not going to stay too long. But it said that I could choose. And one of the things that really clicked was it said, she can choose, but she better choose fast or we'll choose for her. Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm. And it's like, it's quite a big.
As I was listening to that, I was like, dang, okay.
Yeah, it was so interesting, the timing, because of your timing of being pregnant and when the baby is due. And, you know, they're giving you a choice. Do you want to stay here on the old earth for all that time and then give birth on the old earth? Or do you want to exit prior? And like, it's a really, I mean, there's so much. So have you worked, I mean, you're sounding very balanced talking about it, but do you know what you feel is going to be your choices? I mean, you don't have to share it if you don't want to.
No, I don't mind sharing. It actually reinforces my choice. I have thought a lot about it. And there's one thing that really clicked on me. I'm not gonna lie, a little part of me wants to go just because, I mean, it's a new adventure. Who doesn't want to go on a new adventure? You know, it just sounds exciting. But the biggest part of me wants to stay. And yes, big part of it is because of my children. I have very little children because I'm about to have a baby. I kind of want to, you know, enjoy my baby a little bit, even if it's just for a short time. I mean, heck, I had a really bad first trimester. I want to enjoy my baby a little bit. I think I deserve that, you know?
Mhm.
But at the same time, the reality is, Joe, we're not going to have another opportunity to be here. This is it.
Absolutely.
And if instead of going right now, I go 6 months later or whatever, what's 6 months when it's something that I cannot do again? This is a truly lifetime opportunity to stay here a little bit longer and stay and be of service. And that speaks so loud to me. And the sessions I heard today, did you hear Sally saying that contracts are changing because some people are learning so much and they can be of so much service? And I
Mm.
truly see myself as one of those people. I have grown so much this year. And what 6 months, 1 year, whatever time it is that I would stay longer, what's that in such a wonderful opportunity that we're having right now to be here in this time? I mean, how can I say no to that if I get to choose? You know what I mean? I
Absolutely.
really feel a little bit like, especially after what I saw in my session, I feel like, remember the beginning of my session when I saw myself at the top of the mountain holding the energy, and my subconscious said that you can hold it. You've done this. You can handle it. Because at times it feels so hard, but we got this, guys. And if we have the opportunity, gosh, if I was given the opportunity to consciously choose to stay a little bit longer, knowing that first, I got it. I'm going to be able to handle whatever it's coming. And second, I can be of service. And third, I can finish this experience that I will never have the opportunity to do it again, not in the same circumstances, in the same planet, in the same vessel. Wow, that feels amazing. I'm so grateful that I was given this choice. So consciously, yes, I have chosen to stay. Um, and I feel really dedicated to that. There's a little part of me that wants to go, and I kind of need to let go of that part to really fully commit, if you know what I mean. But yes, I do want to stay, and I'm very grateful that I was given the choice.
Yeah, I love your honesty about the small part, you know, because I mean, I think it's very natural, but you're so in tune with your emotions and your feelings that you know exactly what's going on for you, and you're not, you know, you're completely comfortable in your own shoes, and I love that. I love, love,
I'm
love.
not scared. I'm not scared, you know? And
Mhm.
I think that people, the more they realize that no matter what it comes, My team tells me this all the time. I am protected. We all are. My team tells me, no matter your choice, your children are protected. We are all protected. We're all here to experience what we need to experience for our soul's growth. And it's not up to me, it's not up to you, Joe, or up to anybody to dictate, no, but I need to protect this person. I need to be there for that person. Everybody chose to be here. Everybody has their own experiences that they want to go through. And that's what we should focus on and be grateful for. Absolutely. Truly, we're here to learn and to grow. When we focus on that, whatever comes at us, you can look at it as a victim mode and think, why is this happening to me? Or you can think at it, okay, let's tackle this. And if you change your perspective and think, no matter the circumstances, I understand that things are going to get hard to watch and people are going to start freaking out. But no matter the circumstances, remember, we are here for a purpose. Those experiences, as painful as they might seem, are purposeful. They're not going to go to waste. No. And instead of just grieving or freaking out, let's instead help people have that perspective that everything is purposeful. And there's a bigger picture that we might not see right now, but there's definitely a bigger picture. And everything is just so purposeful.
I have quite a few people who know that they will be staying and they will have to see and accept their family members departing before them. And, you know, that is a really huge emotional roller coaster to prepare yourself for. You know, it is one thing to know these concepts, but then when you have to see our family members that we love exit before us, you know, that's when a huge test of faith will be coming to our front door. You know, so it's incredible that we have this faith and this information, trust and know that everyone's going to be experiencing the most that they can cope with. Those who do have exit points, it's not because they weren't strong enough or brave enough or whatever. It's literally the perfect experience for them. We must honor all life contracts, and it is going to be a very challenging time, but I think we've all been preparing for whatever has to occur, remembering the outcome will be better evolutionary experiences, whether it's the new earth or whether it's the Nibiru or home planets or even back to source. There is profound experiences to be had, and we get to choose the fear, we get to choose the grief, we get to choose all our feelings, and we can honor them, but lingering on to some feelings that don't give us balance, working through it and work as fast as we can, not because we want to dismiss it, but because we can all indulge, and this is not sort of really the time that we need to be indulging in these lower density emotions as we're trying to be of service.
Yeah, and for the people that have the information, I understand for other people, of course, they will not probably even accept if you tell them something like that. But for the people with information, we know that whoever stays, they're not going to stay for much longer anyway. So if it helps, think of the people departing before you as well. They're just moving on somewhere or going on a long vacation or something, but you're going to see them so soon. You're not going to stay here much longer either. I have that sense in my session, and I feel that in every other session, is everything is going to start happening. And when it does, it's going to happen all very fast. I don't know if people are still thinking that from the point that people start actually, you know, shifting and the laser event and all that, that we're going to stay here for decades. It's not going to happen that way. Whoever stays behind is not going to stay behind for too long. So for those that have this knowledge, may that be, you know, comforting for you. You're not going to be away from your loved ones for that long.
Yeah, absolutely. You actually have to do work, and you're going to be so busy helping everybody else that you will not be
Absolutely.
in that work.
If you are doing the work and helping, that time should go by really fast. But if you're home crying and, grieving, that might go a little slower.
The session I did with that fantastic young man the other day, I did have to laugh and do a semi eye roll, if people allow me to do semi eye rolls anymore. Because the information that he got about people being on the ship and still for the love of God, still rejected the information about a new planet.
And they wanted to go back to Earth. They wanted to go back to Earth.
They wanted to
Isn't
stay
that
on the
crazy?
ship. They wanted, I think they all got to see, because he was on the last ship, so they all got to see what actually was happening. So they had to process the emotions of, it's done, we cannot look, watch, it's done, it's done, it's done.
Yep.
Accept it. And then, they're traveling for a while, and those, then they realize that they're quite happy where they are. They can imagine them living on this ship forever. And then it's like, no, the ship is just a stepping stone, because you've actually got lots more work to do on the new Earth. But it did kind of make me chuckle and sort of think, oh my gosh, they've had this profound, extraordinary experience, and they're still doubting at that point, and then the other thing that I thought was really interesting, I can't remember what it was now with that session. Oh, yes, them saying it's going to be a short few months, but it actually will feel like years. So, that's not really that.
Because probably the circumstances are going to be tough, and we're going to feel like we're dragging. Those months that sometimes you're like, oh my gosh, how many years have we been in this month? Some months really feel like that. Oh my gosh.
It's almost November, and I feel like I've had about 2,700 years in this current year. Like it is every single day has felt like it's very surreal. I learn so much, I explore so much in a day, and yet a day can feel very, very, very short. So yeah, time for me is very warped. I can talk to people that I feel like I haven't seen for ages and chatted with, and it's really been just a handful of days. It's very surreal, my sense of timing. It's not current.
It's true. One thing that my team has been really, really just pushing me, and at this point I don't even feel like they're pushing me anymore. It's just a kind reminder, but it's to truly enjoy the moment, and I had struggled a lot with that. I'm one of those people that I used to just constantly be thinking about the future and planning for the future. And even though things never really happened the way I planned it, I guess it was just an obsession or just fun for myself to do that. But I do want to encourage everybody to live in the moment. Like, I have been enjoying my children, my time with my husband. When I go see my family, I'm there with my family. I put my phone aside. I just focus on what I'm doing in the moment. And that has been really joyful, I have to say. I had a hard time slowing down. I've always had a very fast-paced kind of lifestyle. And sometimes I would think, oh my gosh, Raquel, you're turning like you're being lazy. But at the same time, I'm not. I'm really just enjoying my time. And instead of stressing with cleaning the house or cooking or doing laundry or whatever, every time my children want me, I stop whatever I'm doing and I focus on my children, and I go outside and play with my children, and I sit on the floor and do silly things with them. And they tell me, Mom, let's go to the park. And I swear, I'm like, seriously, I really don't want to go to the park, but let's go to the park. Why not? I might be dead tomorrow. Who knows? So let's do it. And I go and I actually enjoy it. And I come home so happy that I did. And my children are just so happy. And I can see us just building all these memories together. And it's just been really wonderful. I do have to really encourage every single person listening to this, enjoy the moment and don't take life so seriously. You're always protected. You're always going to have what you need to survive. And this is the only time that truly matters. Tomorrow, it's not certain. Yesterday is gone. But right now, guys, right now, it's yours. You can make the best of it, or you can just let it slip through your fingers like that and just waste it.
So good. Okay, I'm getting a sense that we could wrap up, but I do want you to share what your guidance would be to those people who are supporting the laser event. I know you wanted to bring in the religious aspect.
Yes. So my team has actually helped me with that. So for people that believe in God or a divine being or some sort of energy, whatever their beliefs are, I have felt that one way to help them without, we don't have to go into details, but when somebody has a belief, you can work with their own beliefs for their own benefit. So you can help them see that whatever it is that you believe, and if you know the person, you're going to know what they believe, of course. Just help them understand that there's a divine plan, and that if they trust that divine plan, things might not make any sense right now. You might be confused, you're in pain, you're grieving. A lot of these people are going to be losing loved ones. It's not just seeing somebody on TV. A lot of these people are going to be losing their loved ones. But to know that there's a divine plan and that things happen for a reason, and if they can get into, just reach out to their hearts and really allow themselves to trust that God that they believe their whole lives, that will be comforting. They might not see it in that exactly moment, but as they reflect and ponder upon it, it will be helpful.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Sometimes you don't have to talk too much, okay? Sometimes I personally think that when you are grieving, when you are in pain, look, people can tell you whatever they want. Ain't nobody gonna take that pain away from you. And sometimes you don't even want to hear too much. You just want to be listened to. Sometimes people just want to speak what they feel, release, vent. So be there to listen to them. You don't have to come up with all the ideas or try to comfort them or to try to help. Sometimes they just really need you to be there to listen to them. And don't start coming with your stories of when you lost this person. Ain't nobody's going to compare to the pain that that person feels in that moment. And that moment is all that person cares about. But if you can listen to them and just use their own beliefs to support them, just very quickly, you don't have to have a huge conversation. Just love that person. Just be there for that person. Hug that person, for goodness sake. Do not be scared of it. Hug them. Give them a kiss if you want to. Tell them you love them, and tell them that everything is going to be okay, because it will. And they might not see it in that moment, but as they go through and they process what's going on, just keep reassuring them that everything is going to be okay.
So good. Allowing them to be in their moment too. That's profound.
Yes.
Because you're not wanting to write them
Yes.
out of it. Yeah. I mean, we both had really crappy advice when we went through our miscarriages, and we know we can't be pushed forward. There's no stepping stones or no shortcuts to processing this. So yeah, fantastic. Okay.
Yes, because people will tell you all these experiences, and yeah, but this is my experience. This is how I feel right now. Great. You're telling me that things will get, that, oh, it's okay. It wasn't fully complete, or maybe it's better this way. It doesn't matter. I am hurting right now. Just hug them, listen to them, whatever they feel, acknowledge their feelings. Make sure you tell them you love them. Make them feel that love by listening to them. and just reassure them that everything will be okay.
Absolutely. So many people just, because it's so vulnerable for them sharing their feelings anyway. And so when you can respond back by saying that you hear them, you know, I definitely can hear that from you, you know, like acknowledging actually what they've just said is so profound, because you'll realize if you haven't done a good enough job, they'll keep looping it and retelling you the trauma or the issue, you know, because they don't feel like you've heard them. And so, you know, we want to fully let them know we have heard them, we see them, we love them, we are here for them.
Jo, how do you feel when you go through a situation and you call a friend and you just vent it out? Don't you feel like, oh, I feel better already? But when you're venting with a friend and the friend keeps interrupting you to tell whatever the experience they had over and and just keeps talking, and it keeps going back to their friend, to your friend, when you're supposed to be talking about you, sometimes you get to the end and you feel like, okay, I'm just going to call somebody else because I still haven't totally vented. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
But when your friend allows you to speak, you get to the end, you're like, man, thank you for listening. I feel better already. Yeah. Sometimes people just need to get it out.
I mean, there's definitely situations where people will reach out to others to share, and then it feels like, yes, oh, this is sharing our crap story. Great, I've got so much more to add, you know, and it's kind of, you know, choose your moments. But I know for me personally, because I have such incredible, great friends, that I know that if I ever did get to that point where I needed to vent, even just knowing that they're there for me actually helps me release it, because it's like, you know, we have to be responsible for our own feelings, and you know, we can really self-soothe ourselves by doing our inner work and processing it. Often, you know, while it does feel like running to a friend for support, you know, that's still kind of, you know, like we get to a point in our maturity where we don't actually need to you know, kind of like dear diary our friends with every little small thing. But and not because our friends don't want to hear or listen or care what we're going through, but there is that sort of that point where we can actually manage it. We can give ourselves the support and, you know, the reassurances, and, you know, yeah, it's not, yeah, it's interesting. I know, you know, sometimes when I think, oh, you know, maybe I'm feeling a little bit overwhelmed with something, and then I think about, you know, or who could I reach out to, just knowing that they are there for me anyway, does help. So probably it's a case by case situation.
Yes, and it's absolutely, and there's all the situations where people are going to come to you because they want to know what to do, they want to know what to think. You'll know which situation it is.
Totally. Yeah. I'm having this really fun experiences right now where people are having these profound awakening moments where their team is presenting themselves to them and having these great big conversations, and it's seriously profoundly making them grow. It's really incredible story in times. I love it for everyone that who is growing and expanding and, you know, really taking on board these responsibilities of why we're actually here. And so it is incredible times. I'm so excited. I loved your session. I loved your journey. You know, I think your perception and experience of, you know, being in a religion, I found that so extraordinary and fascinating. Maybe next time, if we can get together again soon, we can share that, because I think that is a profoundly fascinating conversation.
Anytime, Jo. I am so grateful to be a part of this. Just like you said, just being alive right now is just pretty awesome. I am very, very grateful for that opportunity. And you know what? I don't think I'm going to miss the pains and aches. But I think I am going to look back and be like, man, it was pretty cool. Remember when we were on Earth? That was pretty legit. And we'll be able to just laugh it out about all these things that we stress so much nowadays. And then we're going to, oh my gosh, that was so silly. And we were so stressed out about those things. It's going to be so much fun to really look back as an experience and just have a totally different perspective on it. And just being grateful that we were here, Joe. We were here. We were a part of it.
Absolutely. I feel like it's such a privilege to be alive right now. And the fact that we can laugh at all our experiences and growth. I mean, that's, we've made it, we've made it here and we're still living here, and we can, chuckle about the experiences that really, took us for a run for our money and our sanity. Finally, yes. I just want to say,
Joe, let me just say one thing, if I can, before we finish. I just want to say, because of that, guys, please just do what you want. If you're in love with somebody, guys, go and tell that person. If you're sick of a person, just tell them to go away. Just buy that motorcycle, do that trip, do that bungee jumping, whatever you want to do. Guys, this is the moment. There's going to come a time they're like, man, I should have done that. Do it now. Follow your heart. Be happy. Be silly. Have fun. This is the time.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
Have sex. Have lots of sex. We're going to miss that.
Is this your pregnancy hormones speaking out?
No, this is my team tells me this stuff. I'm telling you, my team is out there. Woof. They tell me stuff. They're like, have sex, enjoy it, enjoy the physical things, they tell me.
You're making me blush. Or did you hear, I don't know if you heard Sally's last session where they were talking about sex.
Yes, that was interesting. I am so curious about it. A whole body orgasm. Sign me up.
I try not to be silly in sessions, but I almost wanted to sort of be like, oh, nothing new. I have that all the time. But it's never a time to be silly in sessions. You've got to be serious. My final word would be to people to say, go within or go without. Your choice.
True.
Fantastic.
Make a good one.
Yeah. Is there any final words that you'd like to say before we farewell?
No, that's it. Thank you so much, Joe, for having me. This was really, really wonderful. I really enjoyed talking to you.
I love talking to you. I was so impressed with your approach and attitude to this work, and you got it, and it was so refreshing. I loved it so much. I instantly was a fan of yours, and I'm just so excited. I can't wait to connect in with you, and I mean, who knows, we could even have another session together. Fun times.
We gotta find a way.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, bye, my friend.